Hello everybody, my name is Spooky, and today we are taking a look at what you need to know before you buy Starfield. This video is by Gameranx. I put all the details to their channel down below in the description. Go check them out. Let's get this party started.
Love is kinda crazy with a spooky little boy like you. Spooky little boy like you.
Hello, we're back with another episode of Before You Buy. That show where we give you some straight up gameplay and our first impressions of the latest games releasing. This is a big one to tackle. It's a game that's been in the works for many years.
Yeah, no shit. This is a 17-minute video, dude. This is going to be a lot of information. Now, like many of you, I did not get early access to the game. I have to wait until 8 p.m. today. You may have noticed there are a lot of content creators that got access to the game early that are now streaming it on Twitch or putting up videos right now. I am not one of those, so I'm going to be seeing a lot of this for the first time, just like you guys might be.
From a game development studio many people love and some people have been turned off by in recent years. It's a completely new thing from them. It's not an Elder Scrolls or a Fallout sequel. It's an ambitious space exploration game with its own new worlds and lore. So after playing a review copy
and I'm gonna, not that I know more, like, obviously, I don't know more than the person that's played the game already, but I will say it's not Skyrim, it's not Fallout, but from what they've said, it's basically Skyrim. Just in space, so.
Spending many hours with this game. Personal opinion up front here. I like Starfield. I don't know if I love it. It has a lot of flaws.
How dare you, sir? How dare you say you love Starfield? We are here to bash the naughty Bethesda studio for making yet another game and getting people excited about it.
In some places, doesn't quite hit the heights I was hoping it would, but real simply put, I've enjoyed my time in this game world. If you were hoping Bethesda would make an epic game that would feel nothing like what they've done in the past and be completely glitch-free and change the world, well, then you might be a bit disappointed.
What is that?
But
that running around in the is that one of the creatures?
You're the type of player that was
looks like a massive dung beetle,
looking for the next Skyrim, the next Fallout, and just like embracing the Bethesda gameplay and vibe like a warm blanket,
yes,
then I think you'll be satisfied.
Yes,
Starfield is a complicated one to talk about, and I do think everyone's going to argue about it. It's going to be a divisive one. On the surface, it doesn't look very nice. It has weird NPCs. It does have bugs, and the space.
We noticed that ever since they revealed like the first trailer that it still looks very weird. The funny thing is, though, I feel like a lot of people that are Bethesda fans kind of want that or expect that, you know, because like every Bethesda has like these weird interactions with weird people, and it is very NPC looking like. But it's like it's almost become like a signature of Bethesda games on like what these NPCs look like. Like when I play, I'm actually kind of looking forward to when these characters like, you know, have the normal like Bethesda like we are going to the edge of the galaxy. What is that over there?
You're a miner on some remote mining planet and you stumble upon something that quickly gets you whisked away, conscripted into a group called Constellation. They're like a group of space explorers, where in this world, the humans are all over the galaxy and all over planets and just kind of doing the things humans do in the future. Constellation is a small group still just focused on exploration and the vast mysteries of space. And there's a good main quest here with some.
I'm gonna say, dude, I got some sussiness going on with Constellation. It seems like one of those like little too goody two shoe like organizations that there's definitely some like underlying like evil motives going on in Constellation. I don't know why. I got this feeling that something with Constellation isn't right. Now again, I haven't played it. I don't know. It's just something about it. It's like it's too protagonisty, you know? It's like there's got to be something with it that's like Constellation maybe was looking for something, even though they said it was one thing, it ended up being something way worse. Or like what they were looking for when they said they wanted to like find it for like research or whatever, it ended up being they wanted to find this thing to murder a bunch of people. You know what I mean?
Good characters. Sure, they look a little awkward, but there's some good voice acting from some of the main companions, and dealing with their personality quirks and life differences is fun. Some of them, especially early on, like Sam Coe, have some good charm to them. Spend some time with them. While characters may look generic on the surface, some of them might surprise you. But the actual main quest itself is interesting, like I said. While your
Name's Cole Cassidy here.
character is not voiced, you still seem to have some agency and choice in how things go down. And there's a good mystery to unravel that, again, I won't spoil. For me, personally, I actually just wasn't into the game for the first few hours, though. It takes a while to get its hooks into you. The opening mission is a bit bland, you don't really get that wow moment, and the first city you visit, while being really big and grand, felt a bit boring and weirdly dull. But as you work your way through the main...
That's kind of sad. I was kind of excited for that. You know, that first moment you like walk out of the cave in Skyrim and you see just like the beautiful picturesque countryside of Skyrim. And you're like, wow, man, that it looks great. I can't wait to explore that. I was really hoping for something like that in Starfield. That's kind of sad to hear, but I guess we'll see. I mean, again, we're going to play it tonight, so I guess we'll see.
Quest line, which I suggest trying to focus on a bit, at least up until you get to the city of Neon. As much as you are an explorer and you can talk your way out of some things, you're still gonna end up killing a lot of dudes. And thankfully, the shooting feels pretty good. Depending on your stats, sometimes enemies will be a little bullet spongy,
Dude,
but
looks...
not as bad as you'd think. Guns are loud and punchy. And
wow, this zero gravity action looks so goofy. I think I'm gonna be here for it too. I know that like we're a lot of people just want realism in games, and it's not like Bethesda isn't trying to go for realism, but it's something about Bethesda titles specifically that I don't get excited for how realistic things are gonna be. I get excited for how buggy and how goofy things are gonna be. So we can just have these like hilarious moments in game. And I'm telling you, this zero G fighting thing, even though like it's we're making it more realistic with like way that atmospheres blah blah blah. Even though it's supposed to be more realistic, I think this is gonna just introduce so many more bugs into the game, and it's gonna be great. It's gonna be like a fine wine of bugs, in a new, brand new Bethesda title.
Overly RPG from numbers and stats and points and magic, more from the gameplay approaches, which I'll get to. But
magic? Confirm magic stats?
Skill tree wise, it's kept fairly simple as well, with you spending points in one of a few categories to access
that little critter just
some benefits, and each of those have their own multiple tiers or levels that you can dump more points into to get more out of it. So to unlock the next tier, it's not about just dumping a point though. You need to complete like little objectives or like a checkbox challenge first. So like instead of Morrowind and Oblivion just jumping a ton of times to get better stamina, now you actually have like a checklist, like say shoot 20 bad guys to get better at pistols, or carry 75% of your carrying weight for X amount of miles to get an available upgrade to upgrade your encumbrance, which holy crap, the game is pretty ruthless with that, or maybe I'm just a hoarder. But these little objectives do get a little bit more complicated once you get further down.
Bro, I am a loot goblin when it comes to these games. I check every nook and cranny for every little thing, and I take everything that I find. And I will say, with Bethesda games, one thing that just annoys me is how often I have to fast travel. And like I got into the point where I just don't even try to like keep track of what I'm like equipped and stuff. I just sell everything. And I go back out and then do it again. It's like, dude, I can't do this thing where I'm like, what should I sell? Should I sell this? Should I this? I'm like, dude, I find so much stuff, and I'm always just full. My backpack's full all the time. Like I'm just like, sell it all.
Tree. I don't know if it was like necessarily needed, but that to me is a minor nitpick. Otherwise it works and I like it. Back to combat though, what sold it for me was the weapon variety. There's a good amount, all with their own use cases and manufacturers, from kind of standard to super futuristic, and even some surprises. I
am so excited for those mag energy rifles. The things are like you know, it's like the beam, like it's like machine gun of laser guns. It just looks so satisfying.
A lot of good, satisfying choices. Then they also bring over the weapon mod crafting system from Fallout 4 with some tweaks, which I thought was a great system there, and also very cool here. It makes for a...
Come on down, take a shoot at a little target. Here you go, get yourself down a little prize here. Coming down to Kilo City. Yeah, go get shoot some of these things.
pretty staggering amount of options and things to hunt for and craft and work towards. And you're getting weapons, spacesuits, out of space clothing, and lots of resources for your journey. And yeah, you can like sneak into someone's apartment or a shop and steal stuff just like any other Bethesda game, but you're usually getting the best stuff by exploring. And exploring is complicated.
Yo, that space station looks sick. That view from there is awesome. So I guess these are little space stations you get to board, and you still get to see the like planets and stuff. That looks great.
Fortunately, it's a bit too weird for my liking. Too many hang-ups. There are a lot of cool planets and big cities and some towns. There are also a bunch of randomly generated planets. Now, Bethesda was upfront about this. They set expectations about how they were randomly generated and how it works, but I still it doesn't feel quite right. So exploration itself is a lot of loading screens and menus. You can look at a big map, warp to a new sector, and float around and look at a planet, maybe talk to another pedestrian ship, do a few things. Then you look at the planet with your scanner, and then you can see everywhere you can really land, or really what the planet has to offer.
This is what I was kind of afraid of, was that most of the space travel was just going to be cutscenes. I was really hoping for okay, you have to travel all the way to this planet. It's going to take you like 10 minutes, right? It'll take you 10 minutes to fly from this planet to the next planet. You can fast travel once you discover it. But I was really looking forward to those little journeys to where I kind of just get to hang out in my ship, talk to my crew, you know, adjust some stuff in there, like get the full experience of it. What I'm at least thinking is that it's going to be a lot of fast traveling, a lot of moving cutscenes between all these like sectors and areas, and a lot of loading and all this stuff. And it's going to be less of a like journey, and more of just like okay, you just got to find out which part of the universe you got to go to. You know, a little bummed on that. But who knows? Maybe we'll get some mods that can change that up.
If you're on a randomly generated planet, you roam around what is typically a pretty ugly biome, slowly sprinting and running out of stamina, jet boosting around and checking out abandoned factories.
Oh, stamina, dude. I forgot about stamina. Oh, bro, that's gonna be so annoying for venturing these like pretty barren wastelands. I mean, you get your jetpack, but dude, it's gonna feel like forever, man. Guys, how much longer until mods are supported? How much longer until we can have vehicles in this game? Check. Anybody?
These
Check.
are caves
Check
that
on that.
typically have a door to click on and load into. What is like a typical Bethesda dungeon?
I love from the feet are clipping through this so hard.
Have a door to click on and load into. What is like a typical Bethesda dungeon? Yeah. And from there, you can usually blast your way through and get some decent loot. It doesn't always amount to too much, and it doesn't usually have anything complex, but it does mean it feels like you can kind of endlessly space dungeon run. It may not be of the highest quality, and you may see some stuff repeat. Every so often, I found myself landing on a planet and seeing something cool and walking towards it and finding something totally weird. But most of the time, to me, it felt a little dull, and I preferred focusing on like the towns and the quests and activities, because the more you get into those, the better it gets. And holy shit, they give you a lot. Like from expeditions where you're just looking for stuff to getting...
I guess this is kind of what they were focusing on. It like they knew in a space game they wanted to have it to where like if you really just wanted to like venture, because they mentioned it a little bit where you could like venture out and explore barren wastelands, and you can do that as much as you want, but it's really going to be in the story that you like find yourself getting lost in Starfield, and like maybe like your outpost building and your ship building, but like they really didn't lay into like exploring these planets, all these planets that they had, because they're probably like, you know, it's gonna be kind of boring. And I think they said that too, didn't they? Where it's just gonna be like you're just gonna be running around this barren wasteland forever, and you can do that if you want, but like, you know, Just get those resources and get out, man.
Into some messes with the faction quests and their own individual activities within, to random long-running quests you'll get from like a shop or some.
That rifle right there. I want that. I want to play with that gun right there. That looks like it will absolutely eviscerate. That will just tear through things.
Guy.
I don't know if it is or not, but it looks like it's gonna eat people up, and I want that.
Postings. There's a staggering amount of stuff to do in this game. Oh, and even piracy, which does remind me I should mention the ship stuff. So when you're in orbit, you can engage with other ships, like chat with them or get into combat. Combat is fairly simple, but pretty good. It gets the job done. You can actually kind of do VATS from Fallout, like get a good lock on the ship and it zooms into them in slow motion, and then you can choose to target, say, their shield generator first, and then go for their engines with a different weapon, something like that. How capable your ship actually is, though, depends on how you build it. And then you can cycle power to engines to speed up, maybe disperse a bit of power to weapons to have more power behind them, or put it all towards your grav drive so that you can, like, light speed warp jump out of there quicker. The flying around isn't super complicated. Again, like, you're just in kind of a big space arena separated by loading screens, which sucks, but hey, it's fun to blow up other ships. Still, for me, I gotta emphasize the bigger
man. That really was like at the top of my like, I can't wait to do this in Starfield. Like, I can't wait to set my ship to autopilot and fly it to another planet and just enjoy the ride. I mean, not that you can't do that still, but the fact that you're going to be hitting like loading screens and stuff like that as you're doing it, it's like, it's going to take me out of it. And I'm really bummed out about that.
Thrills were on the ground. I had a lot of fun tackling missions and quests in different ways and stumbling through and making dumb choices and seeing the game react. Like, sometimes I felt really slick and smooth. Other times, the complete opposite of what I expected to happen happened. And sometimes I just went rash and went in guns blazing.
Oh, he
all
went
of it was entertaining.
He went the mom and dad. He went the mommy daddy route. get the mommy daddy.
And sometimes surprisingly hilarious. Now, speaking of hilarious, I guess it's worth mentioning the buggy nature of the game. No, Starfield is not immune from the typical Bethesda stuff you've seen in their other games. I mean, it feels like a Bethesda game you've seen before, from gameplay to just like the feel, the vibe of it all. But that also boils down to weird...
Can we watch that again? Wait, look at how awkward this interaction is.
From gameplay to just like the feel, the vibe of it all. But
it just like floats towards each other. Hey, what's up, bro? Nothing much, bro. What's hanging? Oh, you know, just the usual. Yeah, man, I get you. All right, peace out, homie. It
also boils down to weird, silly, buggy things that'll happen in the game. Like, I'll walk into my ship and see a crewmate hovering 2 feet above the ground, or clipping through a kitchen table. Now, during a conversation with an NPC.
All right, come on. That's just a Bethesda title, man. We look forward to these moments. These are the moments that we're like, yeah, this is a Bethesda title, dude. I don't want realism, even though I just said literally like 5 minutes ago that I would like more realism. I don't want realism. I want bugs, dude. I want things to go wrong in this game so I can laugh at it and go, ha, that's crazy.
Another character will walk into frame and the camera will wig out as they clip through them and do something funny. People will disappear in a blink. Like, if you've seen it in a previous game of theirs, you might see it here. Now, you might not see it as much, like as often, but that goofiness is still there. Does it break the game? No. Haven't really had any catastrophic issues other than getting stuck on a
That was so goofy. It's like a horror movie.
Chair and having to reload my save. But it can break immersion a bit. It's not a disaster, but you'll see some weird stuff occasionally. It's worth... Some people are more sensitive to this stuff, so it's always worth bringing up. All that stuff does, however, contribute to making the game feel a bit old in spots. Some towns are like rich with detail and have a surprisingly dense amount of NPCs on screen, but other areas like the planet terrain or even some sections of, say, New Atlantis just look flat and drab and weird, especially at a lot of times of day. And that's on PC and Xbox versions of the game. It's just not the cleanest or newest looking game, and it's a shame considering the massive scope of everything. The town density, like I said, is great oftentimes, and when
Which, I mean, I'll come to Bethesda's defense. They started making this game like way back. I mean, Unreal Engine wasn't even like conceived at this point. Like they're still running on some old stuff, and they had to build this game from the ground up from that. It's not like they could just go back and just change the engine over on everything. But with that being said, I mean, I get it. But I think it's what you kind of got to go into this game thing is that like the graphics aren't going to be like that great. I mean, they're Bethesda graphics. Like first and foremost, like I think it's a Bethesda game. Like we're not playing some crazy, massive game that has like these crazy graphics. You know, like many modern titles are focusing on. We're playing a Bethesda title. You know, we're playing a Bethesda title. It's gonna have bugs. We love those bugs. The characters are great, a lot of characters. And you're saying, you know, it does get kind of boring. There's boring areas in Skyrim too. I get it, and this is what I was kind of worried about was when they were going for the scope of the game. I was really hoping they would have measured up to it. That's why when I first had my first like moment where I was like, oh, this might not be what I wanted it to be, was when they said that the average playtime to 100% the game was about 100 hours. And a lot of people got upset when I mentioned that. I was like, oh, only 100 hours? And then they're like, well, Skyrim was, you know, the average time to 100% was like 80. Like, it's more than Skyrim. And it's like, that's not the point, dude. It's the point that the scope of the game is so large. And that's what they held up on a pedestal, is that the scope of the game is so large. With that being said, I would think the playtime, especially to 100%, it would be much bigger. There'd be a lot more to do, a lot more to explore. And not that there isn't. Like, there obviously is. But it's like, when I'm hearing that the average time to completion is 100 hours for most players, that was my first thing. I was like, there's going to be a lot of empty stuff here, dude. And I got drugged through the mud on TikTok, on YouTube, on Twitter, or sorry, X, you know, whatever it is.
When you're in space, the planets and the effects and the asteroids look pretty great. Or say if you're on a moon looking up at like Saturn and it's casting a light, that stuff is awesome. But the rest of it really leaves a lot to be desired. And as you probably know, frame rate is 30 frames per second on console, and in our experience, for the most part, it was a very solid 30. On the PC side, of course, everybody's machine is different, and
I think I'm gonna lock mine at 60. From what I can tell, 60 is just fine. I don't think I'm gonna try to I don't think I'm gonna try to. I think I'm gonna pump up the quality and just max it out at 60. My rig can probably do some pretty good stuff, but I really want to make sure there's no like skips or anything in this game. So
who knows how it'll be at launch. We've already had some patches and some updates and stuff like that, but we haven't had many issues after messing around with some of the settings. You know, not the biggest amount of options there, but we've been able to play it fine on our end. Now, switching back to another positive note, I did allude to all the stuff the game lets you do, like weapon mod crafting, but also researching to make special crafting components, as well as cooking recipes, suit mods, which acts kind of like the weapon mod system. You can also build outposts on planets, kind of like Fall.
Oh, can I make my spacesuits like super dope? Can I make like a Incan warrior suit? Can I make like an Iron Man suit? That would be dope.
All out and set that up
like an Iron Man suit, or like you know what's the, you know, an Iron Man in the first one, right, when he fights the big dude that's in the more bigger robot suit
to generate resources.
I want that.
Yeah, it can all be a lot, but the best thing,
Tony Stark built this in a cave with a box of scraps.
Found myself spending time and money on was the ship building. To me, it absolutely delivers. Building is easy to grasp and fun to slowly get more and more crazy with it. You know, parts snap together. The game very clearly and intelligently shows you what can and cannot work, and you're doing it all in real time. There's a lot of options too, like small ships, space trucks for hauling, a bigger battleship. And I just loved adding onto my ship and then seeing it on the landing pad in real time and going, whoa, and then going in the ship and seeing how the interior changed. Like, it's all satisfying and addictive. I got hooked on this like I did building settlements in Fallout 4, and it just improved the whole experience.
I think this is one of the things I'm more excited about, is sitting down with a cup of coffee for 4 hours and just building a ship or building a base. And that's it. Not even doing any quests, just like building a base, being like, that's pretty, you know?
Even if I was dissatisfied with...
Because God knows I can't fucking buy a house right now in this economy and do it in real life.
A lot of the space exploration, seeing the ship I made in action, landing on planets, docked at a city, was cool as hell. And I found myself saving up for a new engine or a new type of weapon to mount on it all the time. These were the main points we wanted to hit today, really. There's a lot of game here, and despite spending a lot of time with it, we haven't seen every inch of it. There's both stuff we couldn't spoil here, and also just a lot of secrets to uncover, stuff that we haven't even come across yet. Starfield is a flawed game with some aspects that just don't quite reach the heights they should, but it has plenty of merits. And the more time you put into it, the more it shows you its, flavors. We're probably going to be talking about this one for
Flavors, all different spices, flavors, and tastes, and
for a while. It is a Bethesda game I was expecting, really, even more so than I thought. If you
like straight up, that's probably the best news I've heard so far, is that it's a Bethesda game. Like when people are like talking about it, like their experience playing the game, they're like, it's definitely a Bethesda game. Like it feels like a Bethesda title. And I'm like, that's perfect. Like that's exactly what I want.
like Bethesda games, even with this one's significant shortcomings, you might like this one. Now, it didn't do everything I wanted it to do, but like I like the characters, the world, the civilizations, cool science and guns and ships. And as much as I have my complaints, I'm looking forward to continue playing it, and I pretty much recommend it. Obviously, depending on the type of player you are and your expectations for this game. Hopefully I laid it out enough for you so you get where I'm coming from. This is a before you buy. You know how this goes by now, right? I give you some pros, some cons, and some personal opinion, and now I want to hear yours. What do you think about Starfield? Just let us know.
For the most part, I'm still pretty excited to play it. I think it's gonna be a Bethesda title. You know, Skyrim had a lot of hate when it first came out too, and it was pretty buggy and it was pretty, I'd say, empty. Like vanilla Skyrim's like pretty empty, like when you think about it. At least compared to today's standards, but I'm pretty excited about it. I think as long as we have a groundwork for a Bethesda game, the nice thing is that Bethesda supports the modding community so much, and I love that. And especially if they make a good foundation for Starfield, I think we have another 10 years of a fantastic game with a thriving community. I mean, think about the communities in the Elder Scrolls and the Fallout communities, like in the modding community. They have made works of art. They have transcended what modding communities have ever done in the past. And I think Starfield is literally just saying like, hey, here's an even bigger sandbox, an even bigger playground for you guys to play around with mods. And as long as they nail that foundation down, dude, I'm excited for it. So let me know what you guys think below, or at my stream. I'm streaming twitch.tv/TSG_spooky. If you guys want to check that out, all those links are below. You can come hang out, ask some questions about Starfield as we're playing that tonight, and then tomorrow, and then every freaking day after that, dude. We're gonna be playing Starfield like crazy. Make sure you guys stop on over at the Twitch. We'd love to have you over there. My name is Spooky. Make sure to like and subscribe if you did like the video, and I will see you on the next video, everybody. Have fun playing Starfield, and I will see you out there, explorers. Peace.